Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Make Money Trading. My name's Mitchell Watts. I'm the CEO, but also the husband, a dad, and your trading mentor. Now, we run our entire business under an AFSL, and that means that me and every member of my team is a registered financial services representative. Okay, we're regulated by ASIC, which means we're held to one of the highest financial standards around the entire world. And I don't want you to take my word for it. You can jump onto Google yourself, search ASIC Professional Register, and enter our company number, which is 1309212, and you can verify it for yourself. Now, my mission's simple. I want to make trading education accessible to anyone by compressing over a decade of trial and error into one straightforward, no fluff, results-driven program for people like you. And in today's masterclass, I'm going to show you how to set up TradingView in around 5 minutes so that your charts are clean, your setup is efficient, and you're primed for profit. All you need to do is follow along, pause the video where you need to, copy my settings, and it's very, very straightforward. The first things first though, if you don't already have a TradingView account, just jump onto Google, type in TradingView, it should be the first one that comes up, and you can get started by clicking that button in the top right. Once you're over here, you're going to choose between a free account and a paid account. But we all know nothing good is free. So an essentials package is about $13 a month. We're talking the price of 2 cappuccinos. Now, if you get an essentials package, the next thing you want to do is come over to products and launch supercharts. Once inside supercharts, it will look exactly like this. It might be black or white, but it will essentially look like this. Now, what you want to do is right click on your chart, remove any indicators that you see. Okay, and you should be looking at candles exactly like I am. If you're not, come up the top and this indicator or drop down box, you're going to make sure you favorite the candles because we do have line charts and all these other charts that we don't want to look at. Right, make sure you're on candles, remove the indicators, right click, open up your settings and change your background color. If you're like me and you prefer light colors, I go with an off-white so it doesn't straighten the eyes. If you prefer darker, you can select black. All right, the next thing we're going to do is remove the grid lines. So simply select none, and that will get rid of those ugly lines in the background. Last but not least, in here, we're going to select watermark. That's going to put on a watermark in the background. All right, and that way you can see the asset you're trading and also the time frame without having to switch through, different settings and layouts and try and find it at a moment's notice. You simply glance in the background and it's there. You want to make sure it's not too bright and in your face, but you want to also make sure you can see it. So I have mine set around 15% for the opacity. My margins are 20-20-10. I'm using a 32-inch widescreen. You might have to play with this to get it right, but essentially you should be able to see each and every candle nice and clearly like I can. Next, we're going to favorite some time frames. So I'm going to go ahead and favorite the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the 1 day. And again, that just makes it very quick and easy. I can switch between time frames at a click of a button. All right, now, once you've got all of that done, I want to show you how you can add an indicator. So simply come up to indicators, and there's thousands of indicators. For this example, we're going to add an EMA. And a lot of professional traders use this for their entries and exits. We're going to open up the settings by clicking the second button. And here it's preset to 9. That's okay for this example. We're just going to change the color to black because it's black and white. And I want to also make it a little bit thicker so it's easier to see. Now the reason I say it's black and white is because you should only be trading with the trend. The trend is your friend, and this EMA takes an average directional bias over the last 9 candles or 14 candles and gives you an average moving price. So if that black line or the candles are under that black line, you want to be looking for sells, and if we're above that black line, you want to be looking for buys. That's just one simple tool or one easy indicator you can add to your chart and look at very quickly. The next, what we're going to do is we're going to add some tools because you will need some tools for the trade. So simply on the left hand side, you have all your tools. We're going to favorite a couple that are actually useful. Starting with the top drop down box, we'll favorite the trend line, and we'll also come down and favorite the horizontal line. Now the horizontal line is so we can mark support and resistance levels. So you can see here I've got a support, up here I've got a resistance. If you want to change the color of them, simply double click and you can change it to whatever you deem fit. The trend line is for the same thing but a diagonal. So here we have a diagonal trend line or a diagonal resistance. So that's what we're going to use them for. And if you want to turn this EMA off for whatever reason, you can simply hide it by clicking that eye icon. And we're going to go ahead and favorite some more things. So next, I want you to favorite the circle tool and the arrow tool. So the arrow is here and the circle is about halfway down. The reason I want the circle and the arrow is because the circle could be used to, for example, do an analysis if you want to identify that as a lower high. Right, you've got a series of lower highs throughout here, and we are simply using this to do an analysis and identify those areas. And the arrow can be used to draw, so we know exactly, maybe you're trying to send through a chart to your coach. We want to see exactly what your thought process is because we're not psychic. So we need to see what you're trying to identify. Where's the area? It's here, this circle. There's the arrow, and then you can put on a text icon. For example, here, we can favorite that, and you can write here, lower high. So we know exactly what you're trying to identify, where it is, and see the thought process behind it. Last but not least, we're going to add the long and short tool. Now these tools just allow us to simply draw and visually have a visual representation of our risk to reward. So this green box represents how much our reward is, and the red box represents our risk. If we were going to do a short position and enter a sell, it would be the opposite, right? And the reward is to the downside and the risk is up here. Now this is just a visual representation. If you have your stop loss at this level here, and you can see that you're, very clearly visually, I can see this is a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 risk to reward, meaning I'm risking $100 to make 300. And it's very easy and quick to put that on your chart and visually see what you're doing. Last but not least, we want to make sure we save this chart layout, guys. So make sure you save the chart layout. You can rename it. And the auto and you basically got an automatic option and a log option with TradingView. If I turn on the automatic option, it will automatically adjust the candle size and layout as I scroll through. Personally, I prefer just to have automatic turned off, leave it on log, and look at it how I want to look at it, move it where I want to move it. And this is enough to get you started. So any questions, let me know, drop a comment, let me know you watched it, and I'll see you in the next one.